We're here today in Longformacus in the Scottish borders, and we're about to head out on a 12-kilometre walk, taking in Watch Water Reservoir and the two giant cairns on the top of Twinlaw Hill, and I'll tell you a story about them when we get there. Plus there's maybe some hidden whiskey along the way. But for now, let's have a look at the map. So here's where we are in Longformacus, about 60 kilometres south of Edinburgh. We'll cross Dye Water and then head out on a small road past some farms towards Watch Water Reservoir. Here you can go on either side of the reservoir, but we opted for the north side along the southern upland way. Follow this all the way to another road where we turn left to cross Watch Water again, before turning off the road and trekking all the way up to the two massive cairns on Twinlaw. From here we need to retrace our steps back to the last bridge, and then it's straight on up over the hill between Dunside Hill and Scarlaw. Continue on to cross a bridge at Dye Cottage, where we turn right to follow along the Dye Water, past an Iron Age fort, locally called Runklaw Fort, and along the hillside back to Longformacus. This map is available to download for free from my Facebook page. I'll leave a link to it in this video's description. And we've started our walk already. We're just crossing over Dye Water now, and you could see that there's an old pipe bridge there too. Turning off the main road, we'll follow this tarmac road for a while. This walk is a total of 21 kilometres and took us 6 hours to complete. It's a warm and sunny summer's day today with a bit of a breeze higher up. And as we get into our stride, now would be a good time to like this video and subscribe for more travel films from around the world. Thanks for doing that, and let's head along for a while, and I'll catch up with you later to tell you some stories along the way. We're now on top of a hill called Windy Law, where you can see there's a bit of a space for parking and a picnic bench. Also here is this memorial called Ali's Cairn, in memory of a keeper at Rawburn called Alistair Thompson. There's a metal jam pan beside it, so you can leave some coins if you want, although the ones that are there looked as though they'd been there for some time. Anyway, as we turn back onto the tarmac road, we begin a descent down to Watch Water Reservoir. There's the alternative south bank path on the left here, but we opted to go right down to the dam. Originally dammed in the 1950s and opened in 1954, this reservoir supplies drinking water through the Rawburn treatment works we passed earlier on in the walk. It's also home to the Watch Water fishery since 2016, and we'll pass an impressive lodge building in a bit. We're going to cross around the back of the dam itself, an impressive structure which is approximately 850 to around about 900 metres in length along the crest. The reservoir is a little low today, however. Well, it is the height of summer, and so there'll be no water on the spillway today. And there's the lodge I mentioned earlier, but we're trucking on along the side of Scarlaw Hill now. This is still the southern upland way, by the way. We'll pass through Scarlaw Farm, ford over Damhow Burn, and then on to join another tarmac road. We're about to cross a bridge over Watch Water again in a moment, but just turn to your right and find a stone memorial just off the road to another of Raeburn's keepers. There are a few stories about John Dippy, some saying that this is all that remains of an 18th century farmstead located beside a natural spring, but the part "there is no water in the Lammermuir sweeter than the John Dippy's well" has led some to believe that John would pour some whisky into the spring, making those who drank from it taste the sweetest of water. That could actually be a bit of a tall tale, and it's also known that a stash of illegally brewed whisky was also called a well, so it could be that some was buried here. Either way, we couldn't find any springs or any hidden whisky. So let's continue over the bridge and up the hill, and this marks the start of the climb up to the cairns of Twin Law. Two great cairns are now coming into view, and they have some stories as tall as they are. What is probably true is that they were prehistoric burial cairns originally, probably from the Bronze Age, about 2500 to 800 BC. It's not quite clear, but they weren't quite in the form you see today. I'll tell you more about that in a moment, but first, the most common local legend about these cairns. The story talks of two twin brothers separated at birth who end up fighting opposing sides during a battle on the hill, one fighting for the Saxon king, the other for the Britons. During the course of the battle, both ended up killing each other, strangely enough, and when the battle was over, what remained of both armies decided to bury the brothers on the hilltop and mark their graves with these cairns. However, that doesn't really fit with the Bronze Age dating, but let's go with it. And of course, around Halloween, figures in ancient battle dress are seen patrolling the ridge, protecting the cairns from any disturbance, of course. Another story tells of hidden treasures beneath the cairns, but to disturb the cairns or take stones from them will mean you'll befall the curse of the cairn disturbers. However, the stones were definitely not left alone during World War II, when this area was used by the military and these cairns as target practice. Old stories recount tanks driving across the hills firing at them, and some nearby ground indents do indicate perhaps explosions happened here, but many of those tanks got stuck and many shots missed the cairns, so maybe the spirits were protecting the cairns after all. Well, let's just write in the guest book and leave the stones alone. But one thing's for sure, we didn't damage anything, and after lunch, we're heading off back down the way we came to the bridge we crossed earlier. So at this point we met a bit of a problem. If we forded the river here, we'd be heading back on a track towards Rayburn Waterworks up over Winrig Hill, but the route we're taking today, and the fact we didn't have any waterproof footwear, means we need to double back a little way, jump this fence and head on up the side of Nuns Bank to continue on. At this point we join Mance Road and follow it all the way down the hill and back to Longformacus. Thanks for coming along with us on this walk, I hope you liked it. Remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to this channel for more, and I'll see you on my next video somewhere else in the world. See ya!